Hello Captains, it's me, TONIK TZW, and because I've been putting so many videos out on destroyers and things, I thought I'd try my hand at a few different ships that I need to finish grinding. So I've been playing some other nations' destroyers, I've been playing some cruisers, I've been playing some battleships, and we decided to make some progress on the Tier 7 Kansas grind. And as you can see, this turned into a pretty big game and is a new personal record for me in this ship. Sadly, we didn't break the 200,000 barrier. Now I'm using this build that Durka Games put out for the Alabama, and I just threw the same captain on, and there's the modules. And what you don't see on there is that I did have the engine speed module on there. I've since changed it to rudder shift because later in this game that rudder shift would have come in massively handy. Now I know we all hate battleships going in reverse at the start, but what I'm looking for in a game, I'm thinking tactically, thinking about how I'm going to play the game, and thinking about where I normally see red team ships appear when I'm pushing a cap in a destroyer. And that spot there is always a favourite for red team, because you can't shoot across from the right hand side, you've got to get out here on the left. And what I'm trying to do is drop my gun range ring down to the spot where I normally see those ships, and then once I've got back far enough, can't see that Zeton in the smoke screen. I'd really love to know where his bow is. He is moving, but he's just on the limit of range there, so we're going to try and pop a shot out towards him. And again, unfamiliarity with the velocity of the shells, because I'm used to much faster firing guns and much shorter ranges, and we miss that Zeton in its entirety. But the Suzuya, a lovely little fire-spamming agile cruiser, is pushing straight into the cap. You'll see that the destroyer across on B has abandoned the two battleships there, and one of our ships has run straight into the middle of it. So I'm going to focus on the Suzuya. I'm sure he's watching for me firing my shells, so we ripple fire the turrets, something that I prefer to do instead of a full salvo. And we get some good hits there on the Suzuya, and thankfully he is being focused by the team. The Zeton is out of range, and the anchorage is still sat in his smoke screen. There is red team's Jervis, and everybody should be focusing on him, especially that destroyer that is sat in a smoke screen on the edge of the capture point. But no, he is more interested in shooting at the Suzuya. I know he's a gunboat, he could really take care of that Jervis, but I've got a reload available, and I'm going to fire at the Jervis because every shot counts here. And we get one hit out of, what's that, 12 shells? Absolutely abysmal. I think I might have to change my fighter plane for a spotter plane on this as well, if that's available. I haven't actually looked at the options to see if that's available. So we're backing up again. We're going to try and get some shots onto this Zeton. And again, let's see what we can do here. He is turning out, so we lift up. He's pretty much at maximum range again. Are we going to get any decent hits this time? They're looking good. First salvo miss, second salvo we get one hit, one overpen and one shatter. That was absolutely disappointing. And at this stage of the game, I don't really feel like I'm contributing a huge deal because, yeah, I'm often very critical watching other destroyers play, and all we need on that cap is one ship. All we need is the destroyer. He needs to stay hidden. Nobody else needs to be on that cap because it will just get reset. However, they are going to sail in, and that Zeton is going to try and kite them away. Because I'm sure that Zeton has realised that the flank across on C has completely collapsed. We've lost 4 ships. And although they have lost one destroyer, this anchorage is about to get one hell of a wake-up call. Told you so. Double Citadel, Dev Strike, absolutely knackered, and he is out of the equation. And nobody's paying interest to BCAP. Ideally, our Akazuki would be perfectly placed to go and take that cap, but instead he's spamming the Zeton. And I know it's a gunboat, but by shooting at the Zeton, all you're doing is telling him exactly where you are. His secondary's going to pop at you. That cap is going to keep getting reset, and it's not going to turn to our colour. Let the Zeton run, and I was coming up on mic and saying, let the Zeton run. He's kiting you away. Drop detection. Take the cap. Let's push back towards B cap. We can take care of him later. And that's exactly what I do, because the bulk of red team is now coming across from C cap towards B cap. And if you look, all of our ships are stacked on A. Southern Dragon there. Yeah, I've never seen those do well in a game, but there is in Algeria pushing in towards B cap. There's a Flander coming across this way, and I'm looking at what my concealment range is and what this Flander is doing, and it keeps disappearing because we haven't got anybody spotting for us. The destroyer, I think, has finally decided to stop shooting at the Zeton, but we have 3 ships on that cap. We don't need 3 ships there. Southern Dragon is getting tucked in behind the island. I know it's unlikely that he'd take on an Algeria and survive by himself, and it does look probably to the team like I am running for the back of the map. That's not the case. What I'm doing is trying to get an angle into B cap and put myself in a position where this Flander doesn't necessarily know that I am here. And he is going to go bow into those guys that are on A cap and towards B, and that will leave him broadside to me. Now it would be beautiful if that Southern Dragon had just pushed up to the little gap in the middle and got a shot on the Algeria, just to prevent red team from taking that cap fully and having an even bigger lead. I always say in a destroyer, caps are king. Play the caps first, then you don't have to kill every ship on the map. And red team are doing exactly that. They've taken Charlie cap. They've taken Bravo cap uncontested. It looks like the Southern Dragon was just sitting and waiting to fire his torpedoes. I'm getting ready to put a full send out on that Flander and hoping for a good shot, and then I momentarily get the Algeria spotted there, and we get a decent hit, 13,000. But there is the Algeria, and you know I don't play battleships that often, especially in high tiers. There is the Algeria, there's a Florida behind it. I'm thinking, do I go Algeria, do I go Florida? Algeria is probably the biggest risk to our cruisers and destroyer, so we put a ripple of turrets out there as he starts to slow down on that corner, and we're just looking to see what happens here. And he disappears for a dev strike, and we break through 100,000 damage. Flander now knows that I'm out here. I think I'm the one doing the spotting, because the Akazuki and one of the cruisers was in the smoke screen, but I am the one here doing the spotting. I know the Akazuki is basically a gunboat, and he's trying to get some fires on this Flander. We get a salvo out, leave him with a sliver of health, and obviously with the time it takes to get a reload, somebody else is going to pick that one up. Now I did notice that this Iowa was out in front of me, so I was trying to stay bow on to him. There is still another battleship behind me. We have a full health Florida, I think it is, a full health Iowa in front of me. We do have a destroyer who could really push onto the capture points. Now I've switched to HE here because I know this Iowa is just going to continue to bow tank me, and we are just going to charge towards each other. Now, could I have done something different? Could I have slammed it into reverse? Yes, I could. Florida has a crack at me. At this point, my only concern is the Iowa in front of me, and I really wish that our destroyer could do something about the Friesland who is there in Bravo Cap. We also have the Suzuya. Friesland is spotted momentarily. What we're going to do is look for where he's firing for a smoke screen, and we're just going to blind fire onto that with 2 turrets and hope that we get something off him. It's not going to be a bad salvo. I think we land 1 hit, but we lose our Akatsuki to secondaries from the Brandenburg. I think it was the Brandenburg. But we pick up a Confederate on just over 140,000. The Suzuya's behind me. I don't know what our last battleship is. I don't know what our team are doing. I was really hoping that they would push Bravo Cap, because as much as Red Team have had a huge points advantage for the majority of this game, there is an opportunity with 4.5 minutes to play to pull this back if only we were able to get onto a capture point. This guy has got to be in range of the Suzuya, but Red Team have got a ship round on A cap as well, and now I know that we are royally stuffed, but I'm not going to stop fighting. Nagato gets burned down by the Friesland. If only our destroyers had cruisers had targeted that Friesland when he was spotted the whole time, and if only I'd fitted a rudder traverse here, because my guns come round and I'm thinking I can get this guy. He's absolutely broadside. We get another citadel shot to take us up to 4. The secondaries are running, but with literally, come on, 1 more shot, let's get rid of this guy. No, it still denies us the kill, and that's going to give him the opportunity to get both those front turrets on, and that is me out of the game. Literally 1 shot from that Suzuya, an extra fire on that Iowa would have really helped, and I think I just might have been able to survive and bring my guns round to help this Suzuya out. But I'm screaming on the mic, he's 1 shot, get rid of him off your flank, and he misses completely. And so he's waiting for a reload again. He knows he's got the other battleship behind him. His back turrets are out in that direction. There is the Friesland, thinking he's going to go for an easy kill, and he misses again, but another turret up, and that is the Friesland gone. Watching replays is a good learning experience, because although we were literally going to lose this game hands down on point, and it still isn't over, we have the Suzuya, who is an absolutely awesome fire starter. It's got great range. This guy obviously knows how to play it, and he is going to pick himself up a high caliber. But to think about how much earlier in the game I picked up a high caliber, and the fact that I've picked up a Confederate and 2 Dev Strike as well. Now this is where a mistake is made, because the Suzuya is kiting away, the Florida is turning, and this is a missed opportunity at victory. Although the Susie is trying to lay HE onto him, there's another salvo coming out from the Florida, and it's in between these salvos that the Suzuya possibly could have turned and changed direction, because what he needed to do at this stage in the game to bring the win to blue team is to get turned around and start coming back towards that Florida. Instead, what's happened is the Florida has managed to drop detection. He's managed to put that fire out, and now the Suzuya is playing catch up. It's taken him time to get turned around. That Florida is obviously sailed back onto A cap, but this closing speed is going to be minimal. I don't know what the top speed of a Florida is, but let's say a battleship is 28 knots and a cruiser is, let's say, 30 knots. That is only a closing speed of 2 knots. So the Suzuya potentially could have turned a little bit earlier between salvos and just kept that guy spotted and kept the fire on him. There is so much that went wrong in this game, but there was a lot that went right. We were very much the underdogs from the very start, but the Suzuya manages to get the Florida spotted. He gets, I think, another fire onto him, but we're in the closing seconds as he picks up his high caliber, and it's not going to be enough. 199,552 damage, high caliber Confederate, 2 dev strikes. I think potentially we could have had 4 kills there, at least 3, but it wasn't to be. We finished second for the team with 1,834 base XP, which is more without a bonus than everybody but the top 3, and had that been a winning game, I think we would have been looking at a 2400 game, and the Suzuya would have been breaking through 3,000. But there is a tier 7 American tech tree battleship game from a guy that normally plays destroyers, and actually I don't think I did too badly. I'll drop this one onto the playlist called Battleship Row. There's a few more games on there. Don't forget, smash the like button. Let me know if I should make any changes to my build. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And as always, until next time, take care and goodbye.